guys, happy Wednesday. So, yesterday you guys worked on graphing linear inequalities. Today we're going a step further with solving systems of linear inequalities, okay? So, there aren't multiple strategies in order to do this. It's really just graphing for inequalities, okay? So, you're not going to have substitution or elimination. It's just going to be graphing. So, basically, I'm going to show you a few examples, and then you will be working on some study island, which will have some examples of systems of inequalities and just graphing linear inequalities like yesterday. Okay, so for an example, this is actually a problem off of study island. I just kind of copied and pasted it and made my own graph here, or my coordinate plane here. I advise you to have a coordinate plane out or some graph paper out. Again, if you want a dry erase coordinate plane, just let me know in advance and you're welcome to come pick one up from the school, or I can drop one off at your house so you can have that to use while you're working on this stuff. All right, so what I'm going to do is take each of these equations and graph them separately, just like you learned yesterday. So since this is already kind of in that y equals mx plus b format, all I have to do is graph the y-intercept. So in this case is that positive 3. So I'm going to start there. And I'm going to use that slope, which is a negative 1/6. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to the numerator. So I'm going down 1 and then to the right 6, which is going to be over here. And then I can do the exact opposite since I can't go any further to the right. I can go up 1 and to the left 6. Okay, so I'm going to have this line here. So before I connect it, I need to decide if it's dotted or if it's going to be a solid line. So I have this is less than or equal to sign. So since it has that equal to, it's like included. So it's going to be a solid line. Make sure I include those arrows on the end. Okay, so I've graphed that one. Now I need to decide if where I'm going to shade it, I guess. Okay, so I have y is less than or equal to that equation. Okay, so y is less than or equal to. So on my y-axis, I'm at a 3. I need all the y's less than, so it's going to be shading down. Okay, so notice I'm not like really shading too crazy right now because I need to graph the other one on this same coordinate plane. Okay, so now I'm looking at this equation. Again, I'm starting with the y-intercept here. And it again starts at 3. But in this case, it's giving me a 1/3 for my slope. So I'm going up 1 to the right 3, up 1 to the right 3. I can also go from that y-intercept and go down 1 to the left 3. Down 1 to the left 3. Okay, so I'm going to connect that. Oh, okay. I probably should have looked to see if it was dotted or solid first. Sometimes I do that. So it's greater than or equal to. Since it's included, I know it's going to be a solid line, so I can just continue that. I don't have to dash it. Okay, so I have 2 solid lines right now. I need to decide where this one's going to be shaded. So this is y is greater than or equal to that purple line. Okay, so from my y-axis, I need all of the y values greater than. So that's going to be above this line. Okay, so I'm going to go above this. All right, so notice there is a section here where they overlap. Okay, that is going to be your solution set for this system of linear inequalities. So I'm okay with you kind of using different colors if you have different colors, or just making it really clear what's supposed to be shaded. Okay, so this is supposed to be shaded. I think it's pretty clear right now. So any point, any ordered pair that's in this green shaded area is going to be a solution to both of those. Okay, so remember there's lots of them because this can keep going on. It can keep going on even though there's no graph here. It can go on to the left pretty much indefinitely. All right, so there's really no way to say like, here's my solution set. It's the shaded part that tells you what the solutions could be. Okay, so there's obviously multiple solutions in this case. All right, next one. All right, very similar to the last one. I'm going to graph the first equation. If you see these little brackets, all that's saying is like these two equations or these two inequalities are the first or the goodness, are a system of equations or inequalities. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Okay, so starting by graphing, they're already in the kind of y equals mx plus b kind of format, so I can graph right off the bat without solving anything. So I'm at a positive 3. My slope here is negative 2/3, so I'm going down 2 to the right 3, down 2 to the right 3. I can go from this point up 2 to the left 3. Okay, so again, I need to look to see, all right, it is less than or equal to, so since it has that equal to, it's going to be a solid line. And my next color, I have, all right, the next equation, this is like a plus 0, so my y-intercept is at 0, so that's my starting point. My slope here is 3/2, so I'm going up 3 to the right 2. Up 3 to the right 2. And then I can go down 3 to the left 2, and that'll continue. So again, this is a less than or equal to, so I'm going to draw a solid line. Okay, so I know I forgot to shade in that last one, so I'm going to go back to my original, the first equation there, and that said y is less than or equal to that equation. So I'm looking at the blue line right now, and from my y value, I need all the ones less than, so I'm shading underneath. Okay, so notice how I kind of span that entire line. I'm not just going in like one little area. Make sure you're doing that. It'll be easier for you. Okay, so now this next one, this one's to shade that kind of pinkish line. I have y as less than or equal to. So now y is less than or equal to. So I'm going to go where it hits on my y-axis, and y is less than. So it's going to be underneath this line. Okay, so notice I span the whole line again. I need to figure out where they intersected. So they only intersected in one area, which is right here. So all of this portion would be the solution, okay? So again, make sure it's really clear what the solution is. Make sure you're shading that in really well. It's okay if you like leave these blue lines and these pink lines, but make sure that this is really shaded in very well, okay? So it's very clear what your information is. All right, last one. All right, notice that this one has 3 in your system of inequalities. So you're going to do the same approach, it's just you have 3 of them to kind of keep track of now, okay? No big deal, you got this. So first equation. So this is like a y equals negative 3 type of situation where I can create that xy chart. And it's telling me that y is always going to be that negative 3. So I can pick whatever x values I want in order to graph this. So I can say 0, 1, 2, 3, or 0, 1, 2. That's fine. So if I go to graph this line, I'm going to go on my y-axis, or I'm going to go at 0, negative 3. So I'm not moving left or right, but I'm going to negative 3. And then I'm going 1, negative 3, and 2, negative 3. So it's making that horizontal line. So now I need to determine if it's going to be dotted or if it's going to be a solid line. So when I look here at my inequality, it is greater than, okay, so there's no equal to, which means I can't include whatever's on that line. So this has to be a dashed line. Make sure it's really clear when you have a dashed line. Okay, make sure to put those arrows on the end. So now it's telling me y is greater than. So this is me determining where to shade. So y is greater than 3. So I'm at my y-axis and it's hitting here at negative 3. And it needs to be greater than. So everything above it is going to be shaded. Again, I span the whole length of that line to show where I'm shading. All right, new color. Next one. So for this one, I have that plus 0. So I'm starting at the origin for this line. And my slope is 3/2, and they're both positive. So the numerator and denominator are positive. So I'm going up 3 to the right 2, up 3 to the right 2. I can do the opposite as well. Go down 3 to the left 2, down 3 to the left 2. Okay, so now looking at my inequality, solid or dashed? Solid, okay, because it has that equal to sign. So that one will be solid. Add my arrows. And lastly, I need to figure out where this is shaded for this one. And it says y is greater than or equal to that. So I'm going to go to my y-axis where it hits. So I'm looking at the origin right now. And I need all the y values to be greater than, so I'm shading above. Okay, so I'll span that whole line. All right. So I have the third one to go to. All right, so we have a negative one, or sorry, not negative, a positive one on my y-axis. And my slope here is a positive 4/5, so I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 5. And I can do the exact opposite, so I can go down 1, 2, 3, 4, to the right 5, or to the left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be here. And I need to determine if it's a solid or a dotted. So in this case, it is dotted because it is just less than. It does not include anything on that line. So I'm going to make my dashed or dotted line, whatever you want to call it. Draw my arrows. Okay. Now, determining where to shade. It says y is less than. So y being less than is going to be underneath here. Okay. So again, that y-axis, it had to be under that line. Okay, so the only spot, I know it kind of looks messy, but make sure you're kind of keeping track. That's why I only put little lines instead of shading and everything. So it looks like the only spot where all of these intersect is going to be right here in this little kind of triangle area. So right here is where you would shade in to show your final solution. Again, you can't like write out your final solution, you just have to shade in well, okay? All right, let me know if you have any questions. I can Google Meet with you. We can do whatever we need to make sure that you are understanding this. So right now, you can continue with the rest of the work for today. All right, see you guys. Have a good day.